Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. This is the 19 and 90 edition of WCW Saturday Night. This is the 10th of November, 1990, and we continue our foray into that. We've got nearly 2,500 of these audios available for your listening pleasure, and we continue to move forward in that direction. Anyway, this is the, as mentioned, 1990 1110 edition. We come up with the Z-Man Tom Zink kicking the proceedings off, and I mean, Zink is also a pretty good guy. Cliff Sheets, 526, crossbody off the top rope from Zink there. Zink and Sheets basically go roundabout. Zink manages a good bit of arm control throughout the contest. Zink is pretty in control here, and drop kicks, arm drags, and the like, and then he manages the crossbody off the top rope. 5 minutes 26 seconds. I don't know that the things need to be that intense, I guess you'd say, as far as things go, but it is what it is as far as that's concerned. Zink also coming off of a few months before the nature of, being tag champ with Ryan Pillman. Magnum Force defeats Tim Parker and Joe DeFuna. 410 when number 2 pins DeFuna, shoulder block off the top rope during the bout. A video insert with the U.S. Tag Champs Rick and Scott Steiner claiming they would be on their worst behavior as they faced Magnum Force at the Clash, and this is the debut of Magnum Force. Not exactly a super, major debut, and the team is gone relatively quickly, comparatively speaking, as it relates to kind of moving that forward. Needless to say, the Magnum Force thing, kind of like a Magnum PI type knockoff. A few years late, I guess it's trying to be pop culture-ish, but I think Magnum PI, kind of in a Miami Vice Magnum PI type thing, probably at that point in a rerun series of things, so kind of there. And again, the Steiners taking them on. The match itself is so basic. Punch kick, very basic. I think the elevated back elbow is about what's there as far as important factors. And then, the wrestling wrap-up with Gordon Solie. Solie is pushing that. The wrestling wrap-up is, which to me they made the magazine not available in stores, which is really bizarre. Motor City Madman is out with Paul Heyman. Heyman basically trying to humiliate Lex Luger. This is in a kind of a workout environment. Madman takes out about 3 or 4 enhancement talents. Punch kick, very basic maneuvers. Bump guys around. Motor City Madman is a biker. Paul Heyman is super happy with all that he accomplishes here. But again, super punch kick related stuff. Mr. Hughes, the big cat, is there. Curtis Hughes. Very basic match there. Body slams and the like. Tries to pick his man up. This is before Hughes becomes the WCW bodyguard for Lex Luger, which is in our archive here. We've kind of talked at length about that span of time. I actually enjoyed 1990 a little more than I'm enjoying, 89. I've watched all the way up to November 88, actually, the TakeOver. Scotty Williams is the guy that he is defeating here, by the way. Gets the torture rack submission over Scotty Williams in a basic deal there. And the torture rack mocking Lex Luger is the major deal that comes forward. The Juicer against JW Storm. The Juicer defeats JW Storm via disqualification when Norman comes out, pushes Storm's foot off the ropes during the pin attempt. After the match, Norman manages to let me get my phone, as I will be right back with more right after this. And again, it is a very basic set of matches. And I mean, ultimately, WCW 1990, they've been around for a couple of years. It's, Turner buying it approximately 2 years before. It's not a bad place to be, but at the same time, they're trying a lot of different gimmicks, a lot of different things. The Juicer and JW Storm match is pretty simplistic in the sense of the Juicer, aka Art Barr, doing a Beetlejuice knockoff because Turner owned the rights to the movie. That match is actually pretty decent. Juicer trying to cheat in order to win. It's a very simplistic thing. However, the involvement of one Norman the Lunatic on the outside is a major distraction point. Then we go to one of the Wild Eyed Southern Boys against none other than Buddy Landel. Landel at this time actually really worth watching. Still in the, I wouldn't say the prime of his career, but coming back after kind of botching the '86 run is not a bad deal. Anyway, this is running the gauntlet round two. Buddy Landel and Steve Armstrong, 640. Bobby Eaton knocks Armstrong off the top rope with the right hand punch, and with the win, Landel, Stan Lane, and Bobby Eaton now won $5,000. Armstrong won because during the end of the bout and after the match, during the end of the bout and after the match, kind of getting would have advanced Eaton to the next night on the main event for $15,000. I mean, the match itself is decent. As mentioned too, Buddy Landel kind of getting around and ultimately working the leg. Lots of back and forth. Actually, this match, if you're into studying the art of working, worth checking out just because they can get more out of simplistic things than your average independent group today can, for sure. And also, there's kind of a I guess you'd say a certain desire to do that, to get more out of less, and Landel takes down Armstrong pretty consistently, trying to get as much as he can out of things, and Landel cuts him off. The interference of Bobby Eaton giving Landel the victory there is, I wouldn't say completely unexpected, but it's there. Sting and Bobby Eaton up next. Obviously, Sting, your world champion. Good match with Bobby Eaton here, worth checking out again. One thing I will say is when two featured guys go at it here in 1990, it's a pretty big thing. Sting, of course, having been champion for about 3 months or so, 3-4 months, something like that. They go out to the floor. Eaton takes a hip toss on the floor. Wouldn't want that life for saving nothing, but it is what it is. Bobby Eaton then manages to try and go at Sting a little bit here. Sting launches him into the guardrail. The continuation of the match is pretty consistent. Jim Cornette is out there, although less visible than average. Bobby Eaton takes a good shot at Sting, also tries to take him down. Sting's still dealing with the emotional toll of the Black Scorpion, but trying to keep him off there. Then you see a inverted half crab. Sting finally does get the victory. Two random people try to attack Sting on the outside. Lex Luger also talks about taking on none other than the Stan Hansen challenge and the Motor City Madman coming up at the Clash. I mean, it's there. It's certainly different. Brian Pillman and Rip Rogers up next. They've kind of been doing a mini feud. Rogers basically trying to get Brian to go into a more classic wrestling style. Flying Brian manages to get a couple of arm drags, arm bars, and the like. Brian Pillman not doing the high, the super high spots, but at the same time, still known as a guy who is in a consistent run there, and ultimately manages to, kind of be there and keep going at it a little bit, and ultimately see Brian Pillman. Pillman kind of ties up with his man, and ultimately hard shots Pillman then manages to get an Irish whip and tries I guess the sit out anyway with the sunset flip. Doesn't get everything he wants. They go rolling onto the floor. Pillman comes out ahead eventually with a crossbody victory after the brawl on the floor and a pretty good run there. Sid Vicious up next, and of course Sid, having done the Horseman run, also trying to get at Sting a little bit. Sid with a couple of shots to the midsection of the enhancement guy that he's dealing with here. And of course, Sid not really necessarily caring one way or the other about anything other than getting himself over. Big body slam by Sid. Sid facing off against, Scott Sandlin. Before that match, though, kind of, 221, beats him with a power bomb. Sid punch kick, very, very basic stuff, nothing necessarily worth taking a note of. Also, earlier in the bout, I actually skipped over it by mistake. Night Stalker with Ox Baker defeats Gary Jackson 57 seconds with an elbow drop after a power slam. Night Stalker and Baker's debut on the program. 58 seconds is why I skipped it, because it's very one-sided squash there. Ricky Morton defeating Michael Hayes with Little Richard Marley via disqualification. 6:22, Jimmy Garvin interferes as Morton had Hayes covered with the crossbody after the match. Tommy Rich makes the save for Morton with Bobby Eaton running in and attacking Rich and Morton. Moments later, El Gigante makes the save there. It's a very good match, although a very basic one. Obviously, Ricky Morton still has cachet from his Rock and Roll Express days a few months ago. Also, the confrontation with Teddy Long kind of riding in the limo or sitting in the limo of Ric Flair, basically teasing that he, in fact, wants to be the guy who has Doom defeat Flair or any members of the Horsemen, Anderson, and what have you. Basically, he is implying that is Teddy Long, that he doesn't want the gift that has been presented. Basically, where we're going is that the general idea, Teddy Long is really good in the promo, worth going anyway. See in the match, though, Teddy Long's implying that he is not going to open the gift. The gift ends up, as we've already learned, being the chauffeur's hat and all of that that Ric Flair wants to leave him with. Again, Ricky Morton and Michael Hayes go back and forth. Morton, obviously a strong babyface. Hayes holds down the match. Hayes also in super sparkly stuff. Just, cuts the ring off a little bit, does Hayes. Little Richard Marley on the outside of the ring, and then you see Hayes going back to the chin locks and all of that whenever he can. Cut off as Tommy Rich in Street Clothes and El Gigante come out to try and make a save. Then the Nasty Boys, who promise that they are going to get rid of the Steiners once and for all, take care of the Steiners after the Halloween Havoc debacle in an enhancement match. Obviously, Nasties are a major team here. They don't really stay that long, as they have left for the WWF, I think, by December of that year, something like that. But Brian Knobs, Jerry Sags, splash in the corner, top rope, the power slam, and the elbow drop that they're known for, and that will close this particular show. We'll be back with more right after this.